Week 10 recap coming at you right now. Um, we have some big stories to get to. We have two teams still left undefeated. See which ones they are in this recap, and let's get right into it. Here we go. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Good evening, good afternoon, or whatnot. I am Freddie, your host of NFL Weekly News Talk. We got some good stuff to get into today. We got some stories to get into. Some really big things happened this weekend. There was some upsets this weekend. There was a major upset this weekend. Nobody thought that was going to happen this weekend. It was really big. The betting on that game was really turned upside down, considering what happened in the game. We're gonna get into that game today. Also, I'm not gonna do a recap of that game. I am gonna give a little recap of the game of the week that we chose. But let's get started. One of the major stories that I've seen, that I've been reading, is Rob Ryan got fired from the New Orleans Saints as their defensive coordinator, and Dennis Allen has been moved up. Um, Rob Ryan should have been fired a long time ago. His The New Orleans defense is has always been kind of iffy. They really don't have a good defense. Look at what Washington did this weekend. They put up 47 points on them. Look at even what the Giants did to their defense. They put up almost 50 points. He should have been fired a couple of years ago. I don't. His defensive style of coaching is not my forte. It's not really that good. Defensive wise, his strategies aren't that great. He don't for to me he doesn't blitz enough. He doesn't rush the passer enough, which is one of the main reasons why his defensive teams have put up a lot of points. They have had a lot of points put up on them. Other news stories that I've seen come my way are one is that Peyton Manning, he threw for four interceptions in the game. Come to find out, he was playing hurt. He had um, a pectoral flaciscus, or however you say that. And then he also was playing on a hurt foot with the hurt hands that he has. I don't know if his hands are was still bothering him. He could be out for the season. Um, Also noted, Victor Cruz will not be returning this season. I don't even think he started this season. I can't remember whether or not he did. He played in the preseason games or whatnot, but he will not be. Excuse me. He will not be returning this season. Who else got hurt? The quarterback for the for the Texans got hurt. Hoyt, however you pronounce his name, he got hurt. He may be out. They said it was a concussion. He may have a concussion, a slight concussion. So he'll be out. Maybe the next game. Also, too, that was some semi big news. You have Tony Romo may be returning in week 11. That's another big news. He may be returning in week 11. He may even play next week. Because he's real close to coming back. From what I've read, from my understanding, he's real close to coming back. Um, Also, in another news story that I read that I thought was interesting, the celebration dance that Cam Newton did in the end zone, and the Titans player took exception to it. But in the previous play, the same Titans player got a sack on Cam Newton. I think it was either a sack or he stopped him for some yards or something happened, and he did a celebration dance over him, and which I don't like Cam Newton to begin with. He's a little bit arrogant for me, but I do agree with what he said. If you don't want him celebrating in your end zone, don't let him score. Keep him out of the end zone. That is the whole purpose of today's football anyway, is to get in the end zone and do a stupid celebration dance, which none of the celebration dance these days are creative, if you ask me. None of them are creative. None of them have style. None of them. They're all trendy dances mixed in with a pump of the fist. So they're not all that creative. They got to get a little bit creative if they're go. For me, the celebration dances got to get a little creative. Come on, guys, you can do better. Um, what other story? And yes, the other story that I found that was interesting. Minnesota has toppled Green Bay for the lead of the North. They are Minnesota is 7. Hang on, let me pull this back up. The screen running right. Let me pull it back up real quick just to make sure. They are 7 and I want to say 7-2. They are 7-2. Minnesota is, and Minnesota in their division, they have won 3 games in the division, and which I wasn't giving Minnesota, the time of day. Like I didn't I didn't give them to do this good because some of the games that they won against some of the teams that they played, they were supposed to lose those games. And Green Bay now is 6-3 in the division. And they've won one division game and lost one division game. And this is the NFC North, and Detroit is at the bottom of the barrel. Detroit beat Green Bay this week. That was really huge. That was the hugest. That was the biggest upset of maybe even the year. That was a huge upset. I mean, who would have thought that? Excuse me. Excuse me. Who would have thought that um, Detroit would have beat Green Bay this week? I mean, nobody had Detroit winning. I didn't have Detroit winning. I don't think anybody had Detroit winning. I was looking at ESPN or reading some of the experts on from ESPN. They didn't have them winning. The Vegas didn't have them winning. It was the biggest upset of the week. Um, Then you got in the NFC North South, you have you still have Carolina on top. They are 9-0. Who would have thought that they would still be undefeated? Their their defense, their defense is okay. They're not at the top. It's okay, but that's why not they're still undefeated. It is their offense that's making them undefeated. Cam Newton is a beast. Let's be real. He is a very special human being. He is firing on all cylinders. He's by far the best mobile quarterback that I have ever seen. I discussed this on last Saturday about the mobility of Cam Newton, where you a mobile quarterback to me is somebody who is able to run downfield, which meaning not left to right, but running straight up the middle, running north to south, not east to west, not left to right, running up the field, running down the field. He is running like some of the games that I've seen. He's running straight up the middle, hitting defensive linemen in the mouth with the shoulders. He's killing them. I mean, I don't know what team, what defense. Well, I do know what defense can stop him is the Arizona defense. He's really hadn't. Carolina really hadn't been tested this season. They got a very easy schedule. They should run the spread, but They still have to play Atlanta, which teams usually lose to a big rival or a division game, and that is a big rival game for them. Um, Look for that whenever they do play them. That to be a interesting dynamic on the field. That should be very interesting. In the NFC South, you have Carolina on top. Then Atlanta is at 6-3, with Tampa Bay at 4-5, and New Orleans at 4-6. Um, which is still kind of up for grabs. Anything can happen. You can Tampa Bay or New Orleans can still get a slide in there with the with the wild card going down to the playoffs. They can still slide in there with the wild card. And then in the let's transition over to the NFC West. You have Arizona on top of that division. They're going to clinch that division, no doubt. Unless something strange happens, like Carson Palmer getting hurt, Larry Fitzgerald getting hurt, I don't see them giving up that lead. St. Louis is not going to catch them. Seattle is not going to catch them. And San Francisco definitely is not going to catch anybody. They're at the bottom of the barrel. They're out right now. They're out of playoff contingent. They don't even have a chance of making the playoffs. Um, but Seattle and St. Louis do. They still have a slim chance of making the playoffs. Um, like I said, the North is, that's Minnesota. Minnesota's got that. And then in the NFC East, New York is still on top. But Washington is a game out, a game behind them with 4-5, and then you got Philadelphia 4-5. So the East, the NFC East, that's anybody's division. They can slide up in there in the last couple of games of the season and Anybody can take this division. I'm not giving this division to no set team because the way that they've been playing is horrible. All right, and AFC West, you got Denver. Denver still at top, but I don't know how this backup quarterback is going to be. So we don't know. Things may change. Like I have said in the past, Denver's defense has been holding up their end of the bargain. They've been winning games for them. They've lost two straight games. I mean, so that's letting you know where their problem is. It was the offense, but Peyton Manning has been playing hurt, so that's you still got to give you still got to give Peyton credit where it's due. He's won them 7 straight games. He's also lost them 2 straight games. So they I don't know if he's gonna be out for the season yet. I haven't seen any updates on his injuries, what all injuries he's had, but I know his foot, that pectoral thing, and his fingers. So I don't know if he's gonna be out for the rest of the season. He may be out for the rest of the season. In the NFC South, that's another horrible division. I don't even want to discuss that division. Um, I don't know what's gonna happen with them. Um, and then in the NFC North, you got Cincinnati at the top. They lost, which was that was another upset too. It was 10 to 6. They lost to Houston, and apparently Andy Dalton was mad at J.J. Watts for a comment that he made during the post game. Um, you can't really get mad, you know. Like you can't get mad at him for saying what he said. I mean, if y'all had a won, you wouldn't have had that problem. So I mean, I don't understand why players get upset, but I guess it's the heat of the moment. And it really wasn't a bad comment. I mean, really, you know. I'd have to look it up, and on Thursday I will have what all he actually said, because right now off the top of my head I can't remember the words unless I pull it up. And the Pittsburgh has a chance of catching Cincinnati if they lose any more games. I mean, they have a chance at catching them. And in the AFC East, you have, of course, the Patriots are on top as usual. They That's their division. Nobody's going. They're not slowing down anytime soon. But you have it's a, for them for the wild card and the second place winner of that division. It's anybody's division. Even Miami still has a chance. They're at 4-5. Even they still have a chance. They have won 2 straight games or 3 straight games, however many straight games since they had the coaching change. They have won. So it's gonna be very interesting coming down the stretch. This last couple of games coming down the stretch, and let's get into the game of the week. New England versus New York was the game of the week. Um, that game was a very good game. It came down to the wire. It came down to a bunch of bad referee calls. There were some bad plays that really I thought were um, legit calls, like the interception at the very end of the game that New York got on Tom Brady, which he could have, that could have been the end of the game for them. Um, the touchdown by Blunt that was called back, which was clearly a touchdown. That that was called back. What else happened? Let's see. I watched that whole game. I was on the edge of my seat. I usually don't. I'm the type of fan that usually doesn't yell at the TV screen, jump up and down. I try to stay balanced to where I can see the game, and but this game I was jumping up and down because the Patriots in this era, Tom Brady has not been able to beat um, New York. This was the rival game. This was the game of the year. This was almost like the Super Bowl. They've lost two straight Super Bowls to them. They, so it was finally good to get that win, even though it was by 1 point. The betting on this game was also too. It was 7.5 points, which basically meant a touchdown and a field goal, which we got the field goal, which is you know the referees in this game, they played a very very good game. I mean, the referees were off the chain in this game. If you ask me, like I said, like the the bad the bad play calling, those two big plays where they took the touchdown away and the interception play, that was really big, crucial in this game. Also, too, Eli Manning, you have one of the best receivers in the league, the best receiver in the league. You don't throw him the ball. During the game, he was wide open in some of the plays. He was basically destroying Malcolm Butler in a couple of minutes of the game. He until Malcolm Butler figured out Odell Beckham Jr. and they gave him help. If he like on some of the plays, if he didn't have help, I mean, he was getting I hate to say it, he was getting ate up over there. Malcolm Butler was getting destroyed. It is what it is. I'm not gonna beat around the bush about it. But he finally figured out Odell Beckham Jr. But it's still some of the plays that Eli Manning didn't even throw him the ball, and he was wide open on, just sitting over there just chilling, and he didn't throw him the ball. And I mean, like when he did throw him the ball, he was in deep coverage. He was double teamed. Um, some one play he threw him the ball, he was triple teamed. I mean, you can't. It is Eli Manning. Like I said, Eli Manning vision sucks. It's not. He's not one of the top tier as far as being able to see the whole field. His vision is very limited. I don't know if he has to wear contacts or what, but his vision is as far as seeing down the field, looking for open targets. He misses open targets even when Victor Cruz was playing, even when he wasn't hurt. Victor Cruz would be wide open sometimes, and he would even miss him. So I mean, his vision is he needs to work on his vision. He needs to get out there and work on seeing the field. Just seeing the field. Who's ever open, they need to figure out what to do about his vision because, or either get him a really good check down receiver. Somebody needs to be a really good slot receiver for Eli Manning. Um, and the run game showed up in this game. The run game hasn't been New York's run game hasn't been very effective. And on the Patriots, the defense got exposed in this game. I have been saying it all year that our defense is sketchy. It was sketchy and it got exposed. Um, Granted, the referees were helping them out a little bit, but the defense got exposed. Specifically, their their run defense is horrible. New England's got to get better. That they got to get better at their run defense. The secondary, they're doing their job. It's the run defense, and Malcolm Butler kind of got picked on, but he had to cover Odell Beckham Jr. I mean, let's be real. He did a phenomenal job after figuring him out. Which at the beginning of the game they should have been targeting Beckham more because he was eating Malcolm Butler alive over there. It was a physical play all game, very physical. Um, they were throwing each other to the ground. It was a lot of hand fighting, which is what offensive linemen and not offensive linemen, corner cornerbacks and wide receivers do. They hand fight. Is this part of the game? Um, it was a very very good game. And then on the offensive side of the ball, they did exactly the game plan. Brady was Brady. Gronkowski. They actually lined Gronkowski up as a wide receiver in a couple of plays, which is also something that we discussed on last week. They lined him up as wide receiver instead of doing the old double tight end. He was out there as receiver, and in another injury related, Edelman went down in this game. I don't know if he's going to be out for the season. Um, I have some more news on that on Thursday. Um, I don't know if he's out for the season. I'd have to see what Jesse has to say about that because he does. He is a new. He's in that area um, where it's a lot of coverage on New England. So I'd have to see if they have been talking about it from different news affiliates or whatnot. Um, but in this game, it was very tight game. And like I've been saying all year, New England in the third and fourth quarter is where they really turn it on. If you look at this game, that's exactly what they did. The third and fourth quarter, they scored all pretty much basically all of their points. Um, Especially the fourth quarter. If you are a team going into the third quarter, if you're not up at least two touchdowns, the team is not winning. If that team is not up by two touchdowns, they are not winning that game. I'm sorry, they're not winning it. Um, by some sheer luck, if something happens, or a bad call, a really bad call, um, the team in winning. Um, let's see what else happened in this game. Oh yeah, the kicker, Gronkowski, something weird. I can't pronounce it. I need somebody to be my co-host that's real good at pronouncing names. So if anybody's interested, hit me up. But other than that, in that game, you had really good play from both teams. From both teams, it was but Eli Manning, his vision needs to get better, or I don't. He's getting older, so I don't know if his vision is going to get better, or I don't know what they're going to have to do. They need to find him a good slot receiver, is what he needs. Um, he needs a really good slot receiver because, as far as being able to see down the field, his Yeah, it's rough. And the Patriots need to work on defense. If anything, this week in practice, defense needs to get better. I've been saying it all year. All year, I have been saying it that their defense is sketchy. It's it's not tight. It's not tight. It's not a tight defense. It really isn't. The best defense in the league, to me, is Arizona. They are the number one defense in the league. I could be wrong. It could be Carolina. But if Carolina's number one, then Arizona's number two. I'm gonna look that stat up on Thursday doing the live show that we have. Um, and let's get into the scores of Week 10. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, that has been your Week 10 recap. I will be back on Thursday with the live chat. We will do picks for the next week, and just any news stories that updates, injury updates, things like that. And thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for subscribing. Thank you guys for viewing. Share, like, and do all that good stuff. I will have a catchphrase very soon. Just have to think of a catchy one. And I will see you guys again on Thursday. Thank you guys a lot, man. Appreciate it. And I am out. Have a great rest of the day.